All right, Shalom, Mike. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I'd like to say Shalom to the elect that teach word on true faith and sincerity. And today, I just want to title the lesson. It's only going to get worse. Privacy is intensifying, man. We're moving closer and closer to that perfect day where everything pretty much that's foretold in the scriptures to happen in this lifetime is being made clear and obvious. You know, that we are very well much in this time, that season, pretty much be how about Shemal Shai. It's about to once again proclaim, gain fame of his name. By the way of these certain events taking place throughout the planet Earth. So I got this article, this is from RT News, and it reads, New York threatens prison time for faking the jab. So it's gonna get to the point, ain't no way around that thing, man. Which has already been few cases where people have been caught with that fake, the fake certificate, But that's all part of the plan, because ultimately you can't fake a chip in your hand. That's what it's ultimately gonna come down to. You know what I mean? Everything is leaning towards that thing. And we see it. Like I said, everything is now leading towards that perfect day. So the article, it reads, falsifying Crown Jab documents can now land New Yorkers in prison. And as you can see, it started from New York, the Empire State, the first, which is going to trickle down to these other states. Because ultimately, and it's just not reserved to the U.S. This is a global agenda. You know what I mean? But as you can see, it's over here in Babylon the Great, where the plagues is going to reach its perfection, man. This is where everything is going to reach its perfection, its height of the highest degree. From the famine, we're going to see it of its highest degree here in America. All hell breaking loose. Like I said, the famine, sedition among men, riots. All these things are going to happen in its perfection here in America. All the way down to war. Which the results of that is going to lead to this whole land being made desolate, man. But as you can see, the domino effect to that, all these things take place upon the planet Earth. So it says New York, that's the first, the Empire State. You know what I mean? But it's going to trickle down to the rest. So it says, as Governor Kathy Hochul attempts to crack down on the illegal practice with new legislation. See those laws. It says Hochul signed off on a measure to make falsification of the Crown record a felony on Wednesday, warning that residents who misrepresent their jab status not only jeopardize their own health, but the health of those they come into contact with. And there's been cases where these different professional athletes have lied about it as well. But that's all part of the plan. They telling you gonna roll your sleeves, you're gonna get jabbed, you're gonna get stabbed, regardless. That's what they push. Ain't no way around it. And under here you gonna say you wanna come you wanna bring up the word health. This is the last thing the so-called white man should be bringing up. It says this legislation ensures that New York opens up and many businesses choose to rely on checking jab statuses, the falsification of jab records will not be tolerated, she said. A proof of a jab card will now be considered a written instrument for purposes of forgery statute, which makes the falsification of the Crown jab cards a Class D felony or punishable by up to a year in prison. See? Tampering with a jab record on a computer database will also be considered a Class E felony and punishable by up to 4 years behind bars. See? And that's all we got to get, man. Everything is set. Everything is already in place. Everything is right on schedule, man. You know, it was to the point, a couple years back, you might have said, how the Lord's going to do this and do that and do all these things at the same time. We seeing it now. We seeing the necessary steps are going to lead to the end of this world. Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter. Everything is now coming together. It's being made clear. After, once you see a portrait, once it's about 90% done, you got it, you got a good idea what it is, man. From the previous, when it was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% done, you still couldn't figure out. And once it's 90% done, only thing now is the details. You say you paint a portrait of a person now. The last thing is those, you might have to, detail the different facial structures, but you see what it is now. But that's how what's going on with prophecy. Everything is about to be summed up. So this is 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs past, what I have told thee before, and that's how we measure time. Through the prophecies. That's why I tell you in the Thessalonians, matter of fact, let's just get it. Because that's why now chip talk is the talk of the world. What else can you talk about but the chip? In one way, form, or fashion. It ain't even got to be centered around it. But in the town we're in, it's going to be mentioned somewhere. You know what I mean? So this is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. See? Why is that? Because the time that we're in, the season we're in, is being made clear and obvious. What we at in this process. What our Lord Yahushua said, when the fig tree bud forth and bring forth leaves, meaning what is manifest, is showing what it is. Then we know that summer is now. So as we see the tree of Esau and that fruit of the chip coming forth, we know that we in that time. Mandates and mandatory and requirements, these different draconian laws been passed. We know that we are in that time, that season, where the return of our Lord Yahushua is near, man. It said, then, this is 2nd Ezra 9:2, then shalt thou understand. See, as we see these things, that's how we're going to understand. It said, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the heights will begin to visit the world which he made. And what world is this talking about? The world of Edom. This is that world, that age where Yahweh Shema Shai constantly talked about from Genesis all the way to Revelation. Yeah, it was kingdoms and empires that came and went, and they was prophesied too as well. But the build-up was ultimately the succession of all kingdoms, which is pretty much the build-up to all these heathen kingdoms was gonna be the end of it. Was Esau, the so-called white man. Tells you the times of the Gentiles being fulfilled. Well, this is it. This is the last rulership for all the heathen nations, man. And it's under the banner of the Edomites. That's why I say he's going to visit the world which he made. Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Jeremiah 49. Jeremiah 49 verse 8. It says, flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of the Dan. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him, the time that I will visit him. See? And we just said this is the very same time where the heights began to visit the world which he made. Which it tells you Yahweh made the worlds, the different scenes in the movies, the different ages to take place throughout the planet Earth concerning the rise and fall of kingdoms. And this is the end of Esau. So as these things take place upon the planet Earth, we see that this is the end of this man and his reign of terror through these events that take place upon the planet Earth. It says, therefore, see, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and as you see, the key word is seen, because it was going to get a point. It was going to be clear and obvious. It's going to be manifest. You're going to actually see it through a video, or article, or documentary, or interview. The things that was prophesied in the scriptures, man. From earthquakes to literal earthquakes to earth-shaking events. You know, which, like I said, it's literal earthquakes that's taking place throughout the planet Earth. You know, it's actually an earthquake app. That's how bad it's gotten concerning earthquakes. You got an app that actually track earthquakes, but also earth-shaking events. That actually shook the planet Earth up. That changed the vibe, the direction, of the Earth. And one of those things was that crown, the crown 19, man. That was an earthquake, because this not just reserved to America. It wasn't just reserved to China. This was a planned pandemic. So this actually affected, all these countries, so called. But we know that this is a global agenda. But we seeing these things taking place throughout the planet Earth. It said, then shalt thou well understand, see? So meaning it's going to be made clear and obvious that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, see? Declaring the end from the beginning. And ultimately it's going to be made known that the Lord counsel is standing still. For like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. See, the end is manifested. Just like when you see a nigga cough up blood, there's a good chance he finna kick the bucket, man. And that's what we seeing with the so-called white man. He's fighting to survive. He's fighting to live. And we seeing it through laws and legislations and mandates, and the military is involved. Those are all signs of trying to survive from a rulership standpoint, from a ruler standpoint. For you to stay on top, you gotta enforce your will now, and that's what we seeing with the so-called white man. But it's all showing that he's at his end. It says, even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. See, so it was ultimately a build up to this moment where we in right now. It was all a build up, just like planting a seed. It's not a splash when you plant a seed. The splash come in the end when you see the fruit thereof. But we are witnessing the end of this process. The so-called white man, his reign of terror. But we seeing that everything that's taking place throughout the planet Earth is only gonna get worse, man. The comfortability is being taken away. The pressure is on, Ain't no more Christmas for a nigga. You know what I mean? All these things are being taken away. Matter of fact, let's go to 2 16. 16 to 18, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. And we're in the beginning of the stages of that. It's supposed to be so-called criminal time. I ain't seen a criminal light yet. Because we're in the beginning of sorrow. Motherfucker think about they bill. Motherfucker, see, reality is really setting in for these Americans, man. See, they about to see what we see in a minute. But when they see, it's going to be too late. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So pretty much we act, like I said, we actually seeing all these things being summed up. It's all coming together. Back then you probably thought like, how the Lord gonna get the chip and World War III and this and that going all at the same. But now we see everything coming together. That's why I say it's the beginning of all these things. And what should we do when these evil shall come? Only thing we do is be still and know Yahweh by Shema Shai, and hope that the Lord preserve us from these things to take place. Because it's coming, it ain't no way around it. The only thing we can do is hope to be preserved from it, man. Because it's going to get worse. It says, behold, meaning to look, see. And how we doing that in today's time? Through an article, a video, an interview, a news clip. That's how we're beholding. Famine, see, and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. See why? Because ultimately, these things, the famine, plague, tribulation, anguish, they're happening all around the world, man. Ultimately, before it hits America, and that's why I said it's going to hit its perfection here in America of its highest degree. See, all those things that's taking place throughout the planet Earth before they hit this place for us to consider what's going to take place in this land. It says, but for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. See? So these people, they ain't really acknowledging what's taking place until they help them, man. But that's when it's going to be too late. Like I said, it's going to get worse, man. Just you not going to the restaurant is not going to be the end of it. For you to keep your power on, your lights on, the water running, you're going to have that thing, man. You're going to have that thing. So it's going to get a whole lot worse. But that's how these people going to know about Yahweh. Shai said they knew not until the flood came. Ecclesiastes Sirach 36 verse 5. And let them know thee as we have known thee. See? And how we know about Yahweh Shai? Through the judgments, his mighty works, the report concerning what he did in Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah. He's the one that dictates the rise and fall of kingdoms, the coming and going of man. The different scenarios he set up. They gonna know about Yahweh Shema Shai then, but why? Because we know about the report, but they're gonna be in the report. See, Noah was talking about the flood and the rain, and they just couldn't comprehend it till they were drowning, till they started gagging. Then they knew about Yahweh Shema Shai. So that's once again going to take place in this lifetime. It says, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no power but only thou, O Yahweh Shema Shai. See? So the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, is going to show himself, man. And say he's going to visit the world. And there's a build up to that. That's a process. What it tells you, he visited the world through tempests and storm and rain and thunders and lightnings. But it's going to intensify from actual storm and rain and, different natural disasters to Esau coming in like a flood to an overwhelming presence of judgment from newly created beasts, the beasts of the field, to the lack of water and bread. Like I said, to the troops come in, to the Lord ultimately show himself and visit the planet Earth, mainly hovering over America. It tells you that he's going to spread his wings over bars with the Lord. That's how the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai going to show himself. But we're in the beginning stages of that, the Lord visiting the world which he made. And it's only going to intensify, man. It's only going to get worse. So I just hold it with edifying. I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the positive elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect that teach the word in our true faith and sincerity. DTA, a Bible Bob. Soon, very soon,